You're watching Talk with Audrey. Welcome back. In 2024, the world's population is expected to reach 8 billion. And over the next 5 years, this global population growth will continue to impact and strain resources that are crucial for our planet's sustainability. My guests today are Jeffrey Welser, the Vice President and Lab Director for IBM Research, and Melissa King, a Top Chef finalist and the founder of Co+ Lab, an experimental pop-up dinner series. We're going to talk today about the innovative IBM technology called 5 to 5 and how it's going to combat the faults of the food supply chain over the next 5 years. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me. Jeff, tell us all about IBM's 5 and 5.
So every year at IBM Research, we try and identify 5 technologies that we think have the capability of really impacting the world in the coming 5 years, hence 5 and 5. And we've been doing it since 2006. This year, we decided to focus it really on something that's important to all of us, particularly Melissa and I, which is food.
And food is important for sustainability.
Absolutely.
Great focus. So, Melissa, as a chef, how do you view 5 and 5?
You know, in addition to being a chef, I also have a science background, and, cooking is science. It all kind of goes hand in hand, and I'm always interested in where food comes from. So the technology that IBM's been working on, I find quite fascinating and exciting. They're really trying to find ways to feed the world in a much safer and sustainable way.
So what we have then is the marriage of food and tech. So Jeff, talk us through some of the specifics about how 5 and 5 is going to make a difference in the global food supply.
Yeah, we're really trying to attack the problem all the way from seed to shelf, as we say. So at the seed level, the farmers, we're trying to get them better data from both sensors and satellite imagery so they can maximize the production or yield of each acre of land they've got to increase the food supply. And then as we take that food from the farm to the producers in the shelf, we want to use blockchain technology to better track that supply chain. Unfortunately, about 40% of our food does get wasted right now along the way. And it's also much less traceable unless you have something like blockchain to really follow it through. Then when you get to the shelf, of course, you want to make sure it's safe. We already do a lot of food testing, of course, for bad bacteria. But we think there are ways actually to test for all the bacteria, good and bad, the microbiome, as it were, to really have better headlights so we can stop foodborne illness before it even gets out there. Then when it gets to your house, we actually are working on some sensor technology that would let a home chef using a cell phone, for example, to potentially actually identify bacteria. Yeah, exactly. Right there on your food
And
in the
even
kitchen.
cutting boards, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, there'll be AI sensors embedded into your cutting boards so that you can detect pathogens at home.
That's right. And lastly, of course, food does come with a lot of packaging, unfortunately, a lot of which is plastic. I think we're all trying really carefully to recycle plastic, but the reality is we can't recycle plastic that efficiently today. We have some new technology we think that really can make a difference in making it much easier to recycle plastic and make it much more frequent that you can do it over and over again.
Well, Jeff, how long is it going to take to actually implement these changes?
So they definitely will evolve over time. These are all research prototypes at this point. That's why we're kind of announcing them now. But in the next 5 years, we do think a lot of these will get to fruition. We're doing work right now today, even doing some experimentation there, particularly in the IoT sensor space and satellite imagery space. That's fairly mature. Other things will take more time, but I think it's something we will see definitely in the next 5 years. Simply
amazing. Where can we go for some more information?
If they go to the research.ibm.com website, they can click on 5 and 5 and they can read about each of these technologies. They also see some really cool videos with Melissa actually showing them in action, which is kind of fun too.
My guests have been Jeffrey Welser, the Vice President and Lab Director for IBM Research, and Melissa King, a Top Chef finalist and the founder of Co+ Lab. And we've been talking about some groundbreaking technological innovations that are going to transform the global food supply chain over the next 5 years. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank
you.
My pleasure. And I'll be right back after this.